Hello and welcome to another episode of A Bright Side and another episode 8 of the Great Cornish Pasty-Off. Today I'm in Truro because it is the turn of the Cornish Bakery and Martin's Bakery. Which one will come out on top? Who will be triumphant? Let's go check it out. Okay, there it is, the Cornish Bakery. It's only been open a couple of months, I think, so let's head in and see what their pasties are like. Got to cross the street first. It's fairly quiet here, so you know, at this time of the day, not quite lunchtime yet. But anyway, I'm just rambling now, ignore me. Right, there we go. I've procured my medium steak from the Cornish Bakery. So I'll put that in my bag now and we'll head to Panmure Market where Martin's Bakery is. Just as I'm passing by, I always do look up at that like coat of arms on the exterior there of Manning's Hotel. It's quite impressive, I like it. Relatively quiet here in the plaza today. It is about 11 o'clock in the morning, so you know, the day hasn't fully kicked off yet. But it is a very nice day. Quite warm, around about 65, 70 degrees in the sun, I'd say. Arrived at Panmure Market and we're going to head in now, because Martin's Bakery is just on the left hand side, right there. That's Martin's. Okay, there we have it, the medium steak from Martin's Bakery. Okay, I'm going to head back to Victoria Gardens now and pass judgment. I do like this gardens, and well, the garden's just up there. I do like this little walk to it, this little pathway, the river there. You see all the way down there. Yeah, I like. And if you're not 100% familiar with Truro and you're thinking, where are these gardens? The Crown Court is just up there, so easily findable. Nice easy commute back into Victoria Gardens. We'll find a little place now to eat our pasty. A little quiet spot somewhere. Loads of little areas just to stand around, or like with some benches and whatnot. We'll just walk this way. I was going to sit sort of in the bandstand, but there's no like seats in there, obviously, not in a bandstand. I don't know if a little bit shadowed out in there. We'll find a seat, perhaps this one. Right, so here's the pasty from the Cornish Bakery. You all know the rules by now if you've watched episodes 1 through 7. Basically, it's a marks out of 10 score, and I judge it on a couple of little bits. Juiciness, what's the pastry like, the size, sort of generally. Yeah, on taste. Service in both bakeries was lovely. The young lad in here was really polite. In the Cornish Bakery, he was really good. And the lady in Martin's was very nice as well. So, alright, let's tuck in. Okay, just first impressions. The pastry looks really nice. It's not the biggest of pasties for a medium. It's probably more like a small in some of the other bakeries around. Not a massively burnt bottom, but I can see that oh, the bag there is just blown away, but I can see that a little bit of that burnt bit, but the pastry does look nice and moist. So yeah, alright, I've never had one from the Cornish Bakery before. I keep getting it confused with Cornish Oven. And then I want to call it Cornish Kitchen for some random reason. I've no idea why. But Cornish Bakery, yeah, never had one before, so I'm eager to see what it's like. Right, here we go. That pastry is lovely, and I can already see some meat in there. That's a really nice tasting pasty. Yeah, meat is nice and tender. I'll get into the veg in a minute and just see what that's looking like. Yeah, I can see all the potato, the turnip, onion in there. It's all nice and individual. You guys know what I mean when I say that. It's all separated. You can see it. You can taste the difference. It's not the usual sort of grey mush that you quite often get in some of the more mass-produced bakeries. Nicely seasoned, not overboard, but I can certainly taste the salt and pepper in there. There's a little cross section. Yeah, crimp isn't massive, which again is good, because sometimes if you get like a substantial crimp, you know, you just like eating a ton of pastry. Yeah, this is quite impressive. I was reading on their website, I couldn't see when they were founded as a company. There was a date that said 2021, but I didn't know whether that was when the article was like written. Yeah, they say, they claim that their roots, you know, their roots are obviously Cornish, and but they are, as a business, they are spreading throughout like parts of the country. There's quite a few Cornish bakeries around. Yeah, outside of Cornwall, I mean. Okay, I'm going to have to swap hands because my arm is getting tired. You might have noticed on some of my previous videos, like some of my more recent videos, the editing is slightly different, like with like the transitions from one scene to the other. I always use the iMovies on the iPhone to just, you know, edit the videos. It's easy, it's simple, don't need to think too much. And for some reason, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I transferred a video over in exactly the same way from the camera to the phone, and the volume didn't come with it. Well, the volume had arrived on the phone because I checked in the gallery, and there was, you know, volume. I could hear myself, like, you know, gibbering on. But when I transferred it into iPlayer, it wouldn't. The volume randomly wouldn't come over with it, and I tried it a couple of times, deleted it all, transferred them again, etc., etc. Couldn't get the volume over, and I was in a bit of a hurry that day because I had to get that video edited relatively quickly because it was a Wednesday, so we put our videos up on a Wednesday and a Sunday night. And I thought, oh no, am I gonna have to, like, you know, like write something on like our social media to say that there's no video this Wednesday because of a bit of a catastrophe with the editing. But I found another editor which is actually free to use. It's called CapCut, and downloaded that on the phone, and very simple to use. Again, it works in exactly the same way pretty much, but it does a little bit more. You can buy products on it. You can buy CapCut, and then you can get, like, you know, sorts of different editing tools, better techniques, this, that and the other. But, you know, I just keep my videos as simple as I can, so I don't need all that gubbins. So I just like use the free version of CapCut, and it seems to be working okay. So, like I say, you'll get some different sort of transitions from one scene to another, just to mix it up a little bit. Ooh, a little hit of pepper then. Must have been like a healthy blob of pepper that caught my tongue. Somebody there, like a gardener there, pulled up in his vehicle to take care of business here in Victoria Gardens. It is nice if you're here in Truro and you just want a you know, a quiet sort of half an hour. Let me pan the camera around. This is the sort of scene you'll get. Obviously, you know, augmented by the lovely day today. Like I said earlier in the video, I think it's about 70 degrees, something like that, so it's nice. But you know, the flower beds are all kept up nice and the grass is all nice and trim, so yeah, nice. Down to the last quarter now of the pasty. Still really tasty, but I think all the meat is now devoured, which is a bit of a shame because it's lovely when you get a little bit of meat in that very sort of tippy end, because that's always like a nice little way to finish a pasty. You get like that little hit of meat, but we'll see. We'll carry on eating this. This is definitely not a chore to eat. This is really delicious. Yeah, nice. Some people have asked why we're only taking the Great Cornish Pasty-Off to 8 episodes. And I think the simple answer to that is just the fact that, you know, I am Cornish. My artery is, my body is designed to consume and process more pasties than, you know, anyone else in the country. But, you know, there are only... wasp there landed by me. But, you know, there are only so many sort of pasties I can consume, so I will continue to eat pasties, of course. I love them. But as for the Great Cornish Pasty-Off, we are done. Certainly for episode, like season 1. We have toyed around with maybe doing a season 2, maybe next year or the year after. Find some more bakeries and, you know, face them off against each other and whatnot. So I think that probably is the plan. And also kind of like revisit some of the ones that we've already covered in episode, I keep saying episode, in season 2, or season 1 I mean. Just to see if like they've improved or, I don't know, got worse. Maybe. Some of them would struggle to get any worse. If I'm being honest. Oh, a little tiny bit of meat there toward the end. That's nice. Yeah. Little tiny little blob. Right there. To finish off the pasty. The sun is quite bright actually when the clouds aren't obscuring it. Right, last little bit. I enjoyed that. I think almost fell down a drain. That would have been a little bit uncomfortable. I think for me, for a medium pasty, I think it needed to be slightly bigger, but it wasn't a bad size. You know, if you've got like a smaller appetite or you just want to kind of like have a little snack, that would certainly be adequate. That was a really nice pasty. I must say the pastry was really nice. Again, good sign of like quality, like with the vegetables. And again, they say on their website everything's all locally sourced. So yeah, the potato, the turnip, and the onion you could taste in there. Again, like I said, all very individual. The meat was really juicy. It's a good pasty. Yeah, seasoning, like I said, nicely seasoned, not overboard, which is how I like it. I like pepper in a pasty. I like to taste the pepper for sure. But sometimes, I mean, when it can like blow your socks off. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I don't like it too peppery. But yeah, that was really good. As of the scoring, so again, like I just explained, marks out of 10. I think I'm going to go with a 7.5. I was going to go with like an 8, but just for me, I just think that just as a medium, I just think that size just let it down a little bit. But like I said, all the taste was there. I would absolutely recommend a pasty from the Cornish Bakery. Almost said Cornish oven then. Like I said, I get them confused. Yeah, I reckon a good solid 7.5 out of 10. I would say 8. I was erring towards 8, but yeah, if it was a little bit bigger, it would have been an 8. But yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for the Cornish Bakery. That is a very, very respectable score. I'm going to find another spot now to eat the second pasty, the one from Martin's Bakery. You know, I quite like sitting in the sun, but actually it did get quite hot there as I was consuming that. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a wander around Victoria Gardens and find somewhere to eat the second pasty. Just strolled down to the train bridge here. What an amazing structure. Got the original one here, which was wood. So you had like the big granite plinths, and then the wood was laid from there to there with the tracks, but they were replaced by this very impressive structure. Alright, here we go. We shall perch here. Here's my trusty bag. What I did forget to say is that in the Cornish Bakery I did pick up a water. Ooh, I did pick up a water in there as well. So we'll see what that's like. Well, obviously water, but you know. Just water. Right, so here we are, Martin's Bakery. It says a family of traditional bakers since 1865. How about that? Looks like it says their office here is in St Austell. They've got Pannier Market, Truro, that's where I picked this one up from. There's one in Mevagissey and one in Parr Market. So there's only 3 of these around, unless there is one at St Austell. If that's the case, it'll be 4. Alright, let's see what it's like. Okay, pastry looking very nice. Sort of like an good sort of crimp there. A little hole there in the pastry, which is absolutely fine. Little bit of the burnt bottom there, which again, in my opinion, is always a good sign. Get a little bit of that juice running out, and it catches there in the oven, and gives it that little tasty little burn there. So, all right. I want to say slightly bigger than the Cornish Bakery, but not so much. It's half decent size for a medium. Right, let's see what it tastes like. Quite nice pastry. Little bit drier, the pastry I mean, than the other one. Okay, not a bad start. See what it's like the further we get into it. I was thinking to myself, I'm getting very hot here in the sun. I thought, well, I can just take my hoodie off. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, vegetables are quite nice. Ooh, hot. The lady did warn me that it was quite hot. It only just came out the oven when I bought it. But you know, it's fine. It's cooled a little bit. Pasties do keep their heat, as you know. But yeah, this is alright. Meat is quite nice. More peppery, I would say. More peppery than the other one. Yeah. I want to say there's like a little tang in there, similar to like a lavender's pasty. I don't know what that is. It might just be the more. This is definitely more peppery. It might just be more pepper actually. I think it's just a peppery taste. Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't got a tang as such. Train going past on the bridge behind me. Mm. I don't know if they've used white pepper. You know, there's that difference between white pepper and black pepper. I think that's what I'm picking up. I might be wrong on that. But like I said, there is that, you know, that different taste with white pepper and sort of black pepper, that sort of ground pepper and stuff. I would say this was white pepper. It's fine, I like it. Most of that, all that meat is now gone. I don't know if there's a little bit of meat down in the end. Yeah, that is a little bit hotter on the tongue in terms of pepper. I think that is white pepper in there. Yes, there seems to be a little bit of meat down in the end. That's good, like I said, good way to finish a pasty. I have enjoyed making this little series of videos. The Great Cornish Pasty-Off. And there's certainly, you know, loads more bakeries to go around and try. Most have been really good. The average is really good. A couple have like bombed and have been terrible. And some have been outstanding. I am by no means qualified in food, tasting, nothing like that. I just know what I like. I might not recognise every single flavour. Again, to me, that definitely, itchy nose there, again, that definitely tasted like white pepper as opposed to like black pepper, but I could be wrong. Seagull there flying overhead. I've already eaten it, seagull. The pasties are gone. That was a nice pasty. Again, I would recommend a Martin's if you're in Truro. Yeah, the vegetables were nice in that one. The meat was nice. Probably the vegetables were slightly, a little bit too soft, but again, not down to that point where it just becomes a mush. Yeah, that was a good, solid pasty. I think the 7 out of 5 for the Cornish Bakery is going to win this one. I think we're going to go for a 6.5 for the Martins there. Like I said, good, solid pasty. I would definitely recommend one if you're in Truro. I would just probably recommend the Cornish Bakery just slightly more. Kind of vibrant sort of red there on the flowers. Nice, it is a very nice garden, this big old tree as well, that with its like branches all twisting around each other. Nice. So there we have it. 7.5 for the Cornish Bakery, 6.5 from Martin's Bakery. Both pasties, super delicious. But today, Cornish Bakery wins and is triumphant. Right, just to end this video, I am just reading off of my notes now, which I've got there on my phone. So in episode 1, if you recall, which was gosh, back in December 2022, I think. We've been doing this for a few months. It was the Cornish Oven and Auntie May's, and the Cornish Oven had 7 out of 10, Auntie May's had 6 out of 10. So Cornish Oven won that one. The second episode, Rose versus Warren's, that was a bit of a bomb. Rose lost that one. It only rated a 3.5 out of 10, and a Warren's a 4.5 out of 10. Sort of lower average really for Warren's. Rose was, well, quite frankly, appalling. You know, I've had quite a few Rose before, and they've definitely gone downhill, I think, which is a shame. But yeah, Rose had a 3.5 out of 10. Warren's had a 4.5, so Warren's won that one. The next episode was Philps in Hale versus Hampson's, again over in Hale. Philps, again, good solid pasty, 6 out of 10. Hampson's won that one, 8 out of 10 for Hampson's. Then we went up to Camborne and Poole for Berriman's and Malcolm Barnacut. Berriman's eat that one out. They won that one, 7 out of 10. Out of and it was 6 out of 10 for Malcolm Barnacut. Then we get to the outstanding episode, which would have been episode 5, which was Gear Farm and Anne's pasties over on the Lizard, and I couldn't separate them. Both of those had a 10 out of 10. I didn't think at any point in this series we would get like a 10 out of 10. I thought probably like a 9 out of 10, but both of those pasties were absolutely outstanding. Highly, highly recommend a Gear Farm or an Anne's pasty if you're out in that area. The next episode we did, which was episode 6, was Lavenders versus Harvey Brothers, the Butchers. This was in Penzance. So Lavenders there had a 6.5 out of 10. The Butchers, Harvey Brothers, an outstanding 9 out of 10. That was a superb pasty. I would say the best pasty in Penzance currently, although there are a couple of new places that have opened that I have yet to go to. And last time's episode, or the last episode rather, was Pengenna's pasty over in St Ives, along with St Ives Bakery, and Pengenna just tipped that one, or pipped that one at the post. It was 7 out of 10 for Pengenna, and it was 6.5 for the St Ives Bakery. And obviously this one now, 7.5 for the Cornish Bakery and 6.5 for Martin's Bakery. So what an enjoyable series. What I'll do, in the description I will link the playlist, so you can, if you want, you can watch the entire season 1 of the Great Cornish Pasty-Off. We're going to leave the video there. I do hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to do all the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, smash the bell, and you'll never miss it on any video that we put up. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and now Threads at the Bryce side, so check us out there. So from us to you, cheers and gone. I've told you, I've eaten them already. Be off, demon.